Hello students, let us continue with chapter 2, The Address by Marga Minko. So in this story, as of now we have read that, we have seen that when protagonist reached at Mrs. Dorling's house and she rang the doorbell, Mrs. Dorling, who lived at number 46 Marconi Street, the protagonist was given a cold reception by Mrs. Dorling, and Mrs. Dorling took much time to recognize her. Mrs. Dorling had thought everyone in the protagonist family was dead and asked if anyone else had come along. Sometime later, the protagonist recognized her mother's green cardigan, which Mrs. Dorling was wearing. She decided to go back to the train station and thought about her mother and how she told her about Mrs. Dorling, who was an acquaintance of hers. During the war, Mrs. Dorling would visit their house and take their possessions with her, as she didn't want them to get lost if they ever left the place. Mrs. Dorling had a broad back. The protagonist decided to go to Mrs. Dorling's home to get back their belongings. When she rang the bell, Mrs. Dorling's daughter, so now protagonist visited Mrs. Dorling's house the second time. At the first time, Mrs. Dorling refused to recognize her, but now at the second time, when the protagonist again visited Mrs. Dorling's house, so this time Mrs. Dorling's daughter answered the door. She let her in and asked her to wait in the living room. When they were crossing the passage, the protagonist noticed their Hanukkah candle stand that they had never used because it had been unmanageable. When she reached the living room, she was horrified as she saw all her mother's things that were arranged in a tasteless manner. So now let us continue what happened next in the story. Let us read out the rest part of the story and come to know. So today I am going to explain from here. I looked up. In my last video I explained till here. Thank you. Okay. I looked up. The girl put cups ready on the tea table. She had a broad back. So the protagonist looked up. The girl put cups ready on the tea table. She had a broad back. So the girl had also broad back as the lady had. The protagonist described here, the narrator tells us here, just like her mother. She poured tea from a white pot. All it had was a gold border on the lid. So now here protagonist once again started focusing on the jar which she was having, so from which she was pouring the tea into the white pot. So all it had was a gold border, so it was having gold border on the lid. I remembered. So protagonist started remembering. She opened a box and took some spoons out. Then the girl opened a box and took out some spoons. That's a nice box. That's a nice box, I heard from my own voice. So in narrator said that that's a nice box. It was a strange voice, as though each sound was different in this room. So here protagonist found her own voice was strange, because in that room everything was seemed different. Even the sound of protagonist seemed her different. Here it was a strange voice, as though each sound was different in this room, and in that room each sound was different. Oh, you know about them? She had turned round and brought me my tea. So further the girl said, oh, you know about them? Then she had turned round and brought the protagonist tea in her cup. She laughed. My mother says it is antique. And further she explained that the girl said that her mother says that that jar, the cup was antique. We have got lots more. And she said we have many other cups like this. She pointed round the room. See for yourself. Then she pointed towards the room and said, you can see for yourself. I had no need to follow her hand. I knew which thing she meant. So the protagonist need not to follow her hand, need not to look where she was indicating, because protagonist knew very well what she meant. I just look at the still life over the tea table. As a child, I had always fancied the apple on the Peter plate. So further she says that she was fond of Peter plate, on which her apples, her mother used to keep apples for her. We use it for everything, she said. And she said she was using that Peter plate for everything, but narrator's mother was using that plate for keeping the apples only. She said once we even ate off the plates hanging there on the wall. I wanted to so much, but it wasn't anything special. I had found the burn mark on the tablecloth. The girl looked questioningly at me. Peter plate. Peter plate means here a plate made of grey alloy of tin. So that is Peter plate. Okay. So in this paragraph, narrator tells us that the protagonist looked up. She saw the little girl. She saw the girl put 2 cups of tea in front of her. She had a broad back just like her mother. She poured tea from the teapot, and it had a gold border on the lid. She opened the box and took some spoons out of it. The protagonist complimented the girl about the box. She felt weird hearing her own voice. It was sounding different to her. As the girl tuned as the girl replied, as the girl turned to give her a cup, she asked if she knew about the box. Then she added that it is antique according to her mother. She pointed around the room and said that there are more cups like that cup. She told her to see. Although the protagonist didn't need to follow her direction. She knew what she was talking about. She glanced over the table. She remembered how she used to fancy the apple on the Peter plate. The girl shared that they used the plate for everything. Once they ate off the plates that were hanging on the wall. The girl wanted to eat off that plate too, but it wasn't anything special. The protagonist found that burn mark on the tablecloth. The girl looked at her in a question. Okay, so Peter plate means plate made of grey alloy of tin. Okay. Yes, I said. You get so used to touching all these lovely things in the house, you hardly look at them anymore. So the protagonist said yes and told her that when you are so used to touching things into your house, you hardly notice anything. You only notice when something is missing because it has to repaid or because you have lent. For example, so further she said that you only notice when something is missing or it needs to be repaired or because you have lent it. Again I heard the unnatural sound of my voice and I went on. So again the narrator found her voice to be unnatural. Okay, and she continued. I remember my mother once asked me if I would help her polish the silver. It was a very long time ago. I was probably bored that day, or perhaps I had to stay at home because I was ill, as she had never asked me before. So further the protagonist remembered that she told the girl that once her mother, not remembering, she was telling the girl that once her mother asked her if she would help her polish the silver. It was a long time ago and she was bored that day and she had to stay that day, maybe as she was ill. I asked her which silver she meant, and she replied, surprised, that it was spoons, forks, and knives of gold. Then the protagonist asked her, so which what silver she is talking about. Her mother said it was the spoons, knives, and forks. And that was the strange thing. I didn't know the cutlery we ate of every day was silver. The girls laughed again. So further the girl laughed and said that she bet she didn't know it was either with what they ate with. The protagonist asked if she knew. The girl hesitated and walked to the she hesitated. She walked to the sideboard and wanted to open a drawer. So the girl hesitated and walked to the sideboard and opened the drawer. I'll look. It is in here. So she said she would see if it was there. Okay, so what we have discussed in this paragraph, so let me explain once again. So the protagonist said yes and told her that when you are so used to touching things into your house, you hardly notice anything. You only notice when something is missing or it needs to be repaired, or because you have lent it. She again found her voice to be unnatural. She continued. She told the girl that once her mother asked if she would help her polish the silver. It was a long time ago, and she was bored that day. She had to stay that day, maybe as she was ill. She asked her mother what silver she is talking about. Her mother said it was the spoons, knives, and forks, but she didn't know that it was silver. The girl laughed and said that she bet she didn't know it was either with what they ate with. The protagonist asked if she knew. The girl hesitated and walked to the sideboard and opened a drawer. She said she would see if it was there. Okay. I jumped up. So the protagonist jumped up. I was forgetting the time. I must catch my train. So the protagonist jumped and said she forgot the time and it was the time for catching the train. So she must catch the train. She had her hand on the drawer. Don't you want to wait for my mother? So the girl said, so don't you want to wait for my mother? No, I must go. The protagonist said, no, she must go. I walked to the door. The girl pulled the drawer open. So the narrator walked to the door, and still the girl was opening the drawer. Still the drawer was pulled open by the girl. I can find my own way, and protagonist started going back to the station. As I walked down the passage, I heard the jingling of spoons and forks. So as the protagonist was walking down the passage, she heard the ringing of spoons and forks. At the corner of the road, I looked up at the name plate, Marconi Street. It said it had been at number 46. So when she was going back at the second time, she looked at the corner of the road and she looked at the nameplate. It was Marconi. It was written on the nameplate Marconi Street, and I had been at number 46. The address was correct. So here protagonist found that the address was correct, but now I didn't want to remember it any more. But now the protagonist did not want to remember that anymore. I wouldn't go back there because the objects that are linked your memory with the familiar life of former times instantly lose their value when severed from them. You see them again in strange surroundings. So here the narrator tells us, I went there, I found the things, they were the belongings of the narrator before some years, but now she found herself in a strange surrounding. And what should I have done with them in a small rented room? And further she thought that what she would do now she had no her own house. In the war they had lost their house, so that is why she was thinking now she had a small rented house, then what she would do with all these things in that small rented room where the shreds of black out paper still hung along the windows, and no more than a handful of cutterly fitted in the narrow table drawer. I resolved to forget the rest of all the things I had to forget. That would be the easiest. Okay, so in this paragraph we have discussed that the protagonist jumped and said she forgot the time as she had to catch the train. The girl asked her if she did not want to wait for her mother. The protagonist still replied with the no and said she must leave. The girl pulled the drawer open. The protagonist said she could find her way out and walked down the passage, and she heard the ringing of spoons and forks. So when she reached the corner of the road, she looked at the nameplate again. It said Marconi Street, and she was standing at 46. The address was correct, but she doesn't want to remember it anymore. She didn't want to go back as the things in there reminded her of memories linked with the familiar life of old times, but they lose the value when you are separated from them and you see them again in a strange environment. She thought of what she would have done with the small rented room where blackout paper hung over the window and no cutlery fitted in the narrow drawer. She finally resolved on forgetting the address, and it would be the easiest. So it is all about the story, it is all about the chapter, the address. Okay, so let me once again summarize the whole chapter at the end, then I will discuss answers to all the questions and other exercises. So students, as in the beginning I gave introduction to the story, so let me once again summarize this story completely. Then in my next video I will discuss answers to all the questions, okay, and other exercises, grammatical part and extra questions also will be discussed. Okay, so let me once again summarize the chapter. So the story is about human predicament that follows the pre-war and post-war period. Mrs. S, who was Jewish, she was a rich lady, whereas Mrs. Dorling, she was a non-Jewish. The girl, a daughter of Mrs. S, had lost her house and her mother during the war, and now she had decided to come back to take her possessions. From Mrs. Dorling, an acquaintance whose address was given by her mother years ago, when she reached the house, the woman treated her with a cold reception and didn't let her into the house. So she decided to go back anyway, and then she met her daughter, who let her in and told her to wait inside. So when she saw all the possessions in front of her, she couldn't connect with them and decided to leave the house. So after ringing the doorbell, of Mrs. Dorling, who lived at number 46 Marconi Street. The protagonist was given a cold reception, and Mrs. Dorling took much time to recognize her. Mrs. Dorling had thought everyone in the protagonist family was dead, and asked if anyone else had come along with her. Mrs. Dorling refused to let the protagonist inside her home and told her to come back sometime later. The protagonist recognized her mother's green cardigan, which Mrs. Dorling was wearing. She decided to go back to the train station and thought about her mother and how she told her about Mrs. Dorling, who was an acquaintance of hers. During the war, Mrs. Dorling would visit their house and take their possessions with her, as she didn't want them to get lost if they ever left the place. Mrs. Dorling had brought back. The protagonist decided to go to Mrs. Dorling's home to get back their belongings. So when she rang the bell, Mrs. Dorling's daughter answered the bell. She let her in and asked her to wait in the living room. When they were crossing the passage, the protagonist noticed their Hanukkah candle stand that they had never used because it had been unmanageable. So when she reached the living room, she was horrified as she saw all her mother's things that were arranged in a tasteless manner. The furniture was ugly and the room had a muggy smell and a foul smell, and it made her disinterested, and she wanted to leave the place. Mrs. Dorling's daughter offered her a cup of tea, and the protagonist noticed the old tablecloth that had a burn mark on it. When the girl was showing her the silver fork and spoons that actually belonged to the protagonist, she jumped up and walked out of the house. She decided not to visit the place again, as it brought back memories of the past, and hence she decided to forget that address forever. So it is all about the chapter. So how protagonist lost her home, her mother, post-war. So pre-war, Mrs. Dorling used to carry all the things from narrator's house to her house. So post-war, when narrator lost her mother and lost all the things, she remembered that many of her belongings were with Mrs. Dorling. So that is why she decided to visit that address and took back all her belongings. But when she reached there, she found herself, first time when she went there, Mrs. Dorling denied to recognize him. She refused to recognize the protagonist. So and she thought that the other member of her family also would have come. Okay, she did not allow the protagonist to enter her house. So first time, it was her visit was useless. She went back, but once again she was missing all her belongings. She decided to come back again. So when she went back second time, she found her daughter was there. So Mrs. Dorling's daughter allowed her to enter the home. So when she entered, she found all her belongings. but she found all these things in a strange manner, and that is why she could not bear the scene which she could see inside the home. All things were belonged to her, so she was in a strange surrounding. She decided to leave the place, and she left, and she also decided to forget that address for forever. Okay, so in my next video I will discuss question answer and other exercises. Thank you for watching.